Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tiers Pro Wrestling Weekly in conjunction with Cheapy Productions podcast. And today we have a special interview with a man who knocked it out of the park last Thursday at TNA Unbreakable. Not only is he bulletproof, not only is he your new TNA International Champion, but he is the first TNA International Champion. Bulletproof himself, Steve Maclin. Steve, how are you, my man?
I am doing very well.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's a beauty, huh?
It is a beauty. I love that old school feel of those colored straps and stuff like
Oh,
that. It's awesome, awesome
yeah. It's,
stuff.
it's. I didn't really get the chance when I first saw it to kind of like just mesmerize over it, and just the details in it reminds me of being a kid again with like the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, yeah,
Growing up with that as one of my favorite titles, and now here I am as your first ever international champion in TNA, and I get to kind of build to that staple as well. So I'm very
yeah.
excited.
And I heard the talk about it, like the blue strap represented the ocean, so it's real international feel to the belt as well. It was really cool. But before we go any further, we got to talk as well. TNA Plus, folks. Make sure you're subscribing to TNA Plus. Really, really important. Give you all that back library, pay per views, everything else. Make sure you're over there. Watch.tnawrestling.com is the place to be if you want to know all things TNA. Steve, let's go back first of all to Unbreakable. Talk to me about the build up to Unbreakable, getting the gold again, that whole day and the build up to winning the international championship.
Stressful mentally, not more so physically. Physically, I'm always feel like I'm on par and ready to go on that end. But knowing I had to go against five other competitors throughout the day and two matches throughout the night, and especially with the card we had there to try to follow other matches was a toll in itself. And to beat Ace Austin and Eddie Edwards in the qualifier, and then to get to Eric Young and AJ Francis in the finals in the main event, it meant a lot. And what meant even more was just I didn't pin EY. I got my win back against AJ, which is good on my end, but I wanted to beat someone that I felt who considers one above all. And now here we are going into Rebellion where it's friendships and the bond and brotherhood. It's put to the side. We're both men. We've both done this long enough that we know this international championship means more than anything. And that's the point of being the first ever is now trying to make it mean the most. And I'm going against one of the toughest competitors in TNA history, and that is Eric Young at Rebellion.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were there live at the show, obviously. So there was a little bit of Steve Macklin emotion at the end of that match as well, taking it all in and stuff like that. But what was the build up like just backstage there? Obviously, following Sammy and Mance and stuff like that, and the craziness that went on and that and stuff like that. And obviously, a little bit of time to sort things out and get things ready and all. What was that pre match build up for you just in those moments prior to going out?
Just enjoying the moment and being in the moment and taking it one thing at a time. And my focus was on my first match with Ace Austin and Eddie Edwards, two guys that are just above and beyond professional and just some of the best performers in the world. Eddie with being the heart and soul of TNA for the longest time, and then Ace Austin, he's just on this cusp of just getting out of a tag team with the tragedy that happened with Chris Bay and him getting back on his feet and dealing with that mentally on his end and having to figure things out now as a singles competitor. And he's somebody that I've been looking forward to working with for a long time. And that was the first time we've ever stepped foot in a ring together. So to compete in a three-way that way and to qualify and beat those two meant the world to me. And then again, facing one of my best friends in EY, and then against AJ Francis and getting that win back against him that I lost a few months back, it meant even more. And especially standing there and even taking a moment on a knee and just looking at the title and on the TNA logo and never kind of picturing myself in TNA at some point in my career. And I always thought I was going to be a lifer in WWE, and then things happen for a reason. And here I am in the record books forever as the first ever amongst AJ Styles and Kurt Angle being the first ever champions of world champion and X Division champion. It just to be listed in that now in the record books is a dream come true and something I could have never have told you that would have happened.
Yeah, I have to say at the show when Chris Bay came out, that was an absolute moment. I have to say
Yeah.
it was
It,
just, and it was phenomenal to see it as well. And before we came on, we spoke about that closeness with TNA, how they really take the fans and bring the fans right into the middle of the ring. That bond, that closeness, that family that they spoke about. What is it about TNA that you find that can achieve this? That it's such a totally different feeling than going to obviously the bigger spectacle shows with WWE and stuff like that. What is it that TNA has that harnesses the fans and drags them right in such a big part of the show?
I think it's an underdog show. I think no matter what, we have a roster that's always feeling like an underdog. Whether you want to think that's the end all be all of WWE, that's the bigger show. To me, TNA is one of the bigger shows that is out there. Anytime you tune in, we're killing it from top to bottom from that roster, just going out there and treating it as if we're the underdogs. And we have that chip on our shoulder. And I think for the 20 plus years that TNA has been around, it's always been that way, where it's just we have something to prove. And I think fans notice that and they realize that. And it's also something different. When WCW and ECW went away, TNA became the first thing that everybody was tuning into that was different with new stars like AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Samoa Joe, Eric Young, Eddie Edwards coming out, freaking Austin Aries, just there's so many different names that have gone through the system in TNA that have gone elsewhere to the other system, or have done vice versa, have gone from WWE to TNA and have made a name for themselves. So it's just I think fans just notice that and they find the passion and love that the talent that is out there and performing, they see that as well because every time I go out there, I'm having a blast. Whether I look like I'm in a lot of pain or I'm looking like I'm smiling when I'm inflicting pain on others, that's
Mm.
I think that comes across as genuine to the fans, and they notice the work that everybody puts in.
Yeah, and I have to say that video package that launched the pay-per-view the other night, showing AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe, and those legendary three-way matches and stuff like that, was absolutely phenomenal and getting the crowd absolutely pumped for the night. What do you feel any extra pressure in terms of the lineage of the likes of Unbreakable and stuff like that, in terms of that pressure going out there, or for you as a business as usual, go out there, perform at the highest level and all that kind of stuff?
I think it's a business as usual, but also there's always that underlying pressure you put in your own mind of like, okay, cool, this is on me now. I'm the first ever TNA International Champion. I have a weight to carry now, and I have something to prove to the world. And even when I was released from WWE and coming into TNA, I knew I had something to prove. But now the more opportunities I get and the more I capitalize on it of being a former world champion and now being the first ever international champion, like that's a lot more pressure on me, which I like because that lets me stay hungry and still keep evolving and just bettering myself in the ring as a performer and then also in life outside and doing media like this and being able to communicate and just get my point across and try to speak well for the company and also build this brand even more that it can be.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we move on to Rebellion Sunday in the Gallon Center in Los Angeles. Talk to me. Eric Young, TNA, absolute royalty from beginning to end. How do you prepare for a guy like Aaron Young who is so dynamic and can change it up so easy?
We've joked about it. We even said it at Unbreakable that we knew it would come down to us. And here we were in the finals at Unbreakable, and now here we are at Rebellion. I got my win again, back against AJ Francis. And then now I get Eric Young, which we've kind of knew from the beginning this would kind of lead to this at some point down the road, whether it was for a title or not, that it would just come down to us again going man to man, standing across from the ring, brotherhood aside, friendship, all that's out the window because what matters is this and that's the TNA International Championship. And I don't plan to be a 1 week holder of the TNA International Championship. I plan to leave Rebellion as champion, and I think EY would say the same. Of we know what's we're going to go out there and what's at stake.
Absolutely. And then winning that belt, how did that feel? Obviously, going back to Rebellion now, the place where you won the world title. What's the kind of difference in that from then 2023 till now?
I think at the end of Unbreakable, it was the moment it sunk in. I was like, okay, I'm champion. I have a lot to prove, but I also know that EY was standing there on the ramp staring at me, looking like, hey, you still have a fight coming. And I knew. So not letting my guard down, keeping my head up, no matter what. I'm always front towards enemy. It says it on my jacket. It says it on my t-shirts, which you can get at TNA shop. But it's just it's knowing I have a fight coming. It's the target on my back or on my chest. To me, I like to have it a target on my chest because that's how I just always am. I want to know what's coming at me. I'll keep my back against the wall my entire career. I love having to stay hungry and start just always keep having that uphill climb. Whether you look at me as if I'm on top, to me, I'm always feeling I'm at the bottom, just so I have to keep working higher.
Yeah, that's a great it's a great attitude to have and stuff like that. So what's the plan then? Not looking too much beyond Rebellion, but how would Steve Maclin see the rest of the year panning out?
Well, successfully defending it at Rebellion's number one. And then after that, it's making this international championship mean just that, that it's an international championship. Whether that's defending it in TNA, whether here in the States, whether on TV, against international talent from all over the world, or just traveling to independence and getting out there to be able to just defend it anywhere. And that's my goal. I've said it when I was at Future Shock Pro Wrestling this past week before Unbreakable. I was in the UK and I was there in Birmingham, and it was just a really cool moment to give them a promise of like, hey, the next time you see me, I plan to have an international championship with me, and I plan to make it mean that, and that's an international title. And I want to defend it anywhere against anyone. So if anybody wants to cross that line, or if you want me to cross the line for you, I'll gladly do that.
Yeah, we need to get bulletproof over to Ireland, that's for sure, because I'm still recovering from that Vegas time frame. It has me knocked out still, like, you know. But yeah, absolutely fabulous. And as I said earlier, again, folks, TNA Plus, make sure you're subscribing to that, your one-stop shop for everything TNA. Rebellion coming at you this Sunday. Massive match coming up. First defense for bulletproof Steve Maclin against Eric Young. Going to be an absolute barn burner without a shadow of a doubt. And so many other brilliant matches on the card as well. Absolutely stacked from top to bottom. Talk to me. How did you feel? Joe Hendry coming out WrestleMania, answering Randy Orton's call on that beautiful TNA belt on him as well, coming down the ramp was absolutely sensational to see as well. What was your thoughts on it?
I'm happy as hell for Joe. He's earned it. He's been carrying that world title around and putting TNA on the map and getting more eyes on TNA. With how viral he went for his videos and his songs, it brought the eyes and it got the job done. And that's what made people believe in him, and it got him to believe in himself to become a world champion. And it was just a feel good moment to see that, especially to have a WrestleMania moment. And it was, I hope he took that time on that stage to just kind of soak it in, and especially to go against Randy Orton. That speaks volumes. He's a future Hall of Famer. Whether you believe that or not, I don't think anybody should not believe that. To me, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best to ever step foot in a ring, and to have that opportunity in front of that fan base, and just it was a cool moment to watch here from home.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Steve, listen, it's been a pleasure having you on. Really appreciate you coming
Oh,
on,
thank you.
taking the time. Truly an international champion here, coming here from Ireland here, being interviewed and stuff like that. Couldn't be any more international. Pleasure having you on. Hope to talk to you in the future as well. Best of success for the rest of the year and everything else going on with the new title and all that kind of stuff. We know you'll knock it out of the park, that's for sure. Best of
Thanks.
luck with Rebellion. Give my regards to Eric Young. I know him from his Team Canada days and all that kind of stuff. So absolutely great stuff like that and all. And we will talk again real soon. Man, again, folks, TNA Plus. Don't forget TNA Plus and Rebellion this Sunday coming at you live. Don't sleep on it. Absolutely fabulous card there, including Joe Hendry and Bulletproof Steve Macklin facing Eric Young. Absolutely fantastic. And we will talk again real soon. Cheers, Steve. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.